Mia Carter's alarm erupted at 4:30 a.m., jolting her from the scant 3 hours of sleep she had managed to snatch. Oliver had been restless throughout the night, his teething discomfort preventing them from finding any peace until well after midnight. She rubbed her eyes and cast a look at the baby monitor, where her 6-month-old son lay peacefully in his crib. At last, just one more hour, she murmured to herself, hoping he would remain asleep as she showered and readied herself for another challenging day. The warm water scarcely touched her shoulders before it turned cold. Yet another maintenance problem her landlord chose to overlook. Mia hurriedly slipped into her gray uniform, the fabric frayed from countless washes. Her apartment was compact yet organized, a one-bedroom walk-up that consumed almost 3/4 of her monthly earnings. Images of Oliver adorned the refrigerator, her motivation for it all. While she meticulously arranged his bottles for the day, her phone vibrated with a message. The words sent a chill through her. "Apologies, Mia, but I won't be able to watch Oliver today. My mother is in the hospital." Mia's fingers quivered as she typed her response. "Is everything all right? Wishing your mum a swift recovery." Yet within, anxiety flourished. Lack of a babysitter resulted in an inability to work, which in turn led to no income, and that meant slipping even further behind on rent obligations. She had already surpassed her due date by 2 weeks. Her eyes fell upon the final notice affixed to the refrigerator, the glaring red overdue stamp demanding attention. Ethan Carter, her superior, had a zero-tolerance policy for absences. 3 chances and you're done. That was his approach. She had already acquired 2. "Focus, Mia, focus," she whispered, walking back and forth in the cramped kitchen. Across town, Ethan Carter stood at the expansive windows of his penthouse, gazing out at the city that cradled his burgeoning real estate empire. By the age of 35, he had acquired 12 opulent buildings throughout Manhattan, with an additional 3 developments set to commence construction next month. The morning sun shimmered on his Italian watch while he savored single-origin coffee from a beautifully crafted ceramic mug. The phone chimed, and the voice of his assistant resonated from the speaker. "The Henderson contract awaits your signature, and the Tokyo investors will be reaching out at 11. "Shift the call to 10, Ethan responded flatly. "I would like to keep the afternoon open for the Riverside project review." He concluded the conversation and adjusted his already flawless tie. The penthouse enveloped him in its pristine elegance, characterized by sleek lines, subdued hues, and thoughtfully selected pieces of art. All things arranged meticulously, precisely as he insisted. The stillness enveloped everything, flawless and void of sound. Ethan found solace in that arrangement. Chaos hindered productivity, feelings were tangled, and untidy elements obstructed achievement. Returning to her apartment, Mia faced the inevitable decision that lay before her. She meticulously filled Oliver's diaper bag with an abundance of essentials: bottles, formula, diapers, toys, clothes, and gently wrapped him in his coziest blanket. He stirred gently, his large brown eyes fluttering open. "Forgive me, darling," she murmured, pressing her lips gently to his forehead. "Mother must take care of this. Please be kind to me today, all right?" The 30-minute subway journey to the Upper East Side was fraught with tension. With each sound Oliver made, Mia found herself holding her breath, gently rocking him while silently hoping he wouldn't fully awaken and begin to cry. She had never taken him to work before, nor had she ever thought about it. Ethan Carter's penthouse was an unsuitable environment for children. As the elevator climbed to the top floor, Mia's heart raced. The doors parted to reveal the penthouse foyer, and she entered silently, key in hand. The clock struck 6:15 in the morning. Mr. Carter typically departed for his office at 7:30. If fortune smiled upon her, she might manage to tuck Oliver away in the utility closet with his portable bassinet before he became aware. The penthouse lay in stillness as she glided through its expanse. Oliver nestled serenely against her chest. Every room she walked by highlighted the stark contrast between their realities, his and hers. While her dwelling was limited and practical, his abode was vast and immaculate. While she meticulously tallied her coins, He effortlessly calculated his vast fortune. Mia was nearly at the utility room when Oliver shifted, emitting a small, squeaky sound. She stood still, her breath caught in her throat. "What is that?" The rich, resonant voice sliced through the stillness with precision. With deliberate grace, Mia pivoted to discover Ethan Carter positioned in the hallway, impeccably attired in a finely tailored suit. His striking blue eyes locked onto the bundle she cradled in her arms. His expression was a mystery, yet the tautness of his shoulders revealed all she required to understand. Her deepest anxieties were on the verge of manifesting. Mia held Oliver close, her heart racing wildly within her chest. Ethan Carter loomed in the doorway, his broad shoulders framing the entrance, his face a study in restrained astonishment. I inquired about what that was, and he reiterated, his tone calm and deliberate as he moved nearer. Mia took a deep breath. "Mr. Carter, I sincerely apologize. This is my son, Oliver." Her voice quivered, betraying her attempts to maintain composure. "My babysitter canceled at the last minute, and I simply couldn't afford to miss work today. I understand it's not allowed, but I felt I had no choice." Ethan's gaze sharpened as he examined the tiny package cradled in her arms. At that precise moment, Oliver began to wriggle, his small face emerging as the blanket moved aside. For an instant, a fleeting expression passed over Ethan's face. It was so fleeting that Mia nearly overlooked it. "You brought an infant to the office?" His tone was serious, yet it didn't possess the sharpness she had anticipated. "Absolutely, sir. I realize I should have reached out, but with rent looming and already falling behind." She caught herself, aware that she was revealing too much. "I will depart immediately. I completely understand if you feel the need to part ways with me." Mia steeled herself for the rejection she anticipated. Ultimately, this was the very individual who had dismissed his personal chef for selecting an incorrect brand of truffle oil, the same individual who once instructed his driver to circle the block 3 times simply because he would not tolerate arriving even 30 seconds early to a meeting. Ethan took his time before replying. Instead, he approached, his luxurious cologne permeating the air around them. He observed Oliver with a focus that left Mia feeling uneasy. Then, to her utter astonishment, he let out a deep breath and tousled his impeccably styled dark hair. "What is his age?" The inquiry caught Mia off guard, leaving her momentarily stunned. She replied with a hint of hesitation, 6 months. Ethan nodded, a silent affirmation echoing within him. Then he made a choice that broke every belief Mia held about him. "Complete your tasks. I'll take care of him." Mia's jaw dropped in astonishment. What do you mean? You understood me." His voice held no softness, only a sense of practicality. "It's essential to focus on your tasks, while ensuring the baby is well looked after. The morning meetings I had scheduled were called off. However, you seem to lack knowledge about infants?" Mia exclaimed before she had a chance to hold back. A brief glimmer of an emotion, could it be anguish, flitted across his face before vanishing behind his customary impassive demeanor. "I possess sufficient knowledge. So, are you interested in my assistance or not?" Mia paused, her instincts to shield clashing with her urgent desire to hold onto this position. She cautioned that he could shed tears. "I understand that this is typical behavior for infants. In approximately an hour, he will require a bottle. Then you will guide me through the preparation process." Ethan opened his arms wide, his face conveying a clear message that there was no room for debate. With growing skepticism, Mia cautiously placed Oliver into Ethan's outstretched arms. For someone accustomed to spreadsheets and property values, he surprisingly adjusted his hold on the baby with remarkable ease. Oliver shifted slightly but remained asleep, burrowing into the luxurious fabric of Ethan's suit jacket. "I have work in my office," Ethan said, already turning away. "I take it you have everything he requires?" Mia nodded, her mind reeling from this unexpected twist. "Indeed, all items are contained within his bag. Kindly bring it to my office and commence your responsibilities. The Hendersons will be joining us for dinner this evening, so the dining room requires some extra care and attention." Before she could say anything, he turned and walked away with her son, his stance stiff, yet his grip on Oliver unwavering. Mia observed them vanish down the corridor toward his home office, a whirlwind of questions swirling in her thoughts. As she grabbed Oliver's diaper bag and moved forward, she noticed Ethan through the slightly ajar office door. He was neither checking emails nor making calls, contrary to her expectations. Instead, he lingered by the window, gazing down at Oliver's peaceful face, his expression revealing a depth she had never witnessed in him before. It exuded a gentle fragility, steeped in deep melancholy. The atmosphere of the scene caused a constriction in her chest. Ethan Carter, a billionaire business mogul known for his relentless pursuit of excellence, gazed at her son with an intensity that suggested he was cherishing something both invaluable and elusive. Mia quietly set the diaper bag down at the office entrance before slipping away to focus on her tasks. As she glided through the opulent rooms, polishing surfaces that barely gathered dust, her thoughts continually drifted back to the look on Ethan's face. This man, who appeared to possess it all, power, wealth, success, gazed at her baby as though he had lost everything he held dear. And now, rather than terminating her for her extraordinary violation of professional boundaries, he was gently holding her son in his office. Everything felt disjointed, and as Mia toiled away, she found herself pondering the hidden burdens that Ethan Carter must bear, which led him, of all individuals, to exhibit such surprising kindness. Ethan settled into his leather chair, cradling the baby who slept soundly in his embrace. The laptop sat shut, with emails lingering without replies. After years of meticulously orchestrated plans, Ethan Carter found himself, for the first time, in a rare moment of stillness. Oliver's delicate chest gently rose and fell with each breath, his little fingers occasionally twitching in the embrace of slumber. He exuded warmth and stability, an unexpected anchor in a morning that had taken an entirely different direction. Ethan had not cradled a child since that moment. His thoughts wandered back to the memories he had meticulously tucked away 5 years prior. The hospital room was filled with the sharp scent of antiseptic mingling with the sweet aroma of lilies, a flower that had always held a special place in Emily's heart. Her face was a ghostly hue against the stark white sheets. The smile she offered was tight as she gripped his hand through yet another wave of pain. "She's going to be just as stubborn as you," Emily whispered, her hand resting on her swollen belly, which was already showing signs of defiance by refusing to arrive on time. "As long as she's well," Ethan had responded, pressing a gentle kiss to her forehead. "Embrace the moment, dear child." Yet time was precisely what eluded them. The voices of the doctors had merged into a haze later that night. Placental abruption, urgent cesarean section, significant bleeding. By morning, Ethan found himself bereft of both his wife and their unborn daughter. He reacted in the only manner he understood, immersing himself in his projects, broadening his real estate ventures, and removing anything that could stir feelings in his existence. Nothing captured, nothing cherished, nothing to recall. His company had flourished, yet Ethan had transformed into a figure so distant from the man Emily had once cherished. At that moment, Oliver shifted in his embrace, shattering the heavy silence of reflection. The infant's eyes slowly opened, showcasing rich brown irises that looked at Ethan with a sense of wonder and purity. "Greetings," Ethan murmured softly. Oliver's face contorted, a telltale sign of impending tears that Ethan recalled vividly from the parenting guides he and Emily had pored over. Driven by an instinctive impulse, Ethan rose and started to softly sway the baby, meandering at a leisurely pace around his office. "Quiet. It's fine," he whispered, the phrase feeling strange on his lips after years of terse corporate jargon. To his surprise, Oliver became still, his wide eyes fixated on Ethan's face with a sense of wonder. "Seems you have a modest approach, don't you?" Ethan discovered himself uttering. "A touch of focus, please." As Mia hurried through the penthouse, she cast furtive looks toward the office each time she walked by. She anticipated the sound of tears, whether it be Oliver's sobs or Ethan's pleas for assistance. Instead, there was merely a faint whispering, too gentle to decipher. Her curiosity ultimately prevailed. Stopping just outside the office door, Mia glanced through the narrow opening to see how her son was doing. What she beheld caused her breath to hitch. Ethan stood by the window, sunlight cascading around him, cradling Oliver against his chest. Yet, it wasn't merely the act of holding him. It was the way he gazed at him, infused with tenderness, laced with sorrow, and tinged with an emotion that resembled longing in a most unexpected way. Ethan leaned in close to Oliver, his voice a gentle murmur that eluded Mia's ears. Her son extended a small hand toward Ethan's face, and to her surprise, Ethan allowed the baby to touch his cheek, a faint smile emerging on his typically serious expression. The moment was so intimate that Mia couldn't shake the feeling of being an intruder. She withdrew silently, her thoughts swirling. Why was a man like Ethan Carter, who seemingly possessed it all, gazing at her baby as if he had lost everything? The question lingered in her mind as she diligently arranged the dining room for the evening's significant dinner. Eventually, when Oliver's desperate cries shattered the stillness of the penthouse, Mia rushed to the office with a ready bottle in hand. "I can handle him now," she suggested, anticipating a sense of relief from Ethan. Rather, he paused. "I can feed him," he said, catching them both off guard. "If you show me how." Mia illustrated the proper way to hold the bottle at the correct angle, and Ethan adhered to her guidance with surprising attentiveness. Oliver sipped with anticipation, his gaze locked onto Ethan's expression. Mia noted with a hint of caution, "You seem to have a good rapport with him." A fleeting emotion crossed Ethan's face, a hint of the anguish she had noticed before. "It's straightforward," he stated, his tone intentionally even, yet his gaze revealed another narrative. There existed a narrative, a sense of mourning. As the day unfolded, Mia completed her tasks while Ethan juggled work calls, speaking softly to keep from waking the baby and tending to Oliver. She found it perplexing how effortlessly he adjusted to the upheaval in his meticulously structured existence. As the afternoon waned and she arrived to pick up Oliver, Ethan appeared hesitant to let him go. "Thank you for today," Mia said, her voice tinged with uncertainty as she navigated the peculiar circumstances. "I assure you this will not occur again. I will seek out trustworthy childcare options." Ethan examined her features intently for a brief moment. "What if you find yourself unable to do so?" The inquiry lingered in the atmosphere surrounding them, heavy with meanings neither was prepared to confront. Mia replied with determination, though a sense of doubt lingered within her. As she departed the penthouse with Oliver cradled against her chest, the haunting image of Ethan's face lingered in her mind, the expression of a man burdened by unseen specters, their presence palpable in every shadow of his immaculate, vacant home. 3 weeks had gone by since the moment Mia introduced Oliver at the office, and to her ongoing astonishment, Ethan had permitted her to keep bringing him. The arrangement evolved with little conversation. Every morning, Mia would come in with Oliver, and Ethan would keep an eye on him during conference calls or while going over documents. While Ethan attended meetings beyond the penthouse, Mia would tend to Oliver, keeping him close as she went about her cleaning tasks. The routine managed to yield results in some way. Oliver appeared at ease in the serene opulence of the penthouse, while Ethan, known for his aloof demeanor, had surprisingly adjusted to the baby's presence with a remarkable grace. On this particular evening, Mia found herself meticulously packing Oliver's belongings, getting ready to depart after a long day. The apartment manager reached out while she was on her lunch break. A new rent hike was on the horizon. The news pressed down on her as she carefully folded Oliver's blanket. "You're quite distracted today," Ethan's voice echoed from the doorway, causing her to startle. "I'm fine, Mr. Carter," she responded instinctively, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Ethan observed her with an intense look that appeared to pierce through any facade. In the weeks following Oliver's return to his home, a subtle change had woven itself into the fabric of their relationship. The rigid line between employer and employee persisted, yet an implicit connection lingered in the air between them. "What is the cost of your rent?" he inquired suddenly. Mia's muscles tightened. "Beg your pardon? What is your rent amount?" Ethan echoed, entering the room. "What is the payment amount?" "That is not," Mia began, then hesitated. It will be happening next month. 15% growth? Ethan's jaw clenched subtly. Is that within your budget? Mia felt a surge of pride in her chest. She squared her shoulders. I can handle it. Are you able to? Ethan posed a challenge, his voice gentle despite the weight of his words. It seems you're putting in extra hours nearly every day. Oliver seldom experiences the sun's embrace, only catching glimpses through these windows. Mia averted her gaze, preoccupied with the contents of Oliver's diaper bag. She loathed that Ethan had seen her struggle, despised the sensation of being laid bare and defenseless in front of her employer. Ethan remarked, his tone deliberately even, that he had an unoccupied apartment in my Sullivan building downtown. The former occupant vacated the premises last month, and I have yet to put it on the market. Mia looked up, cautious. What do you mean? Remain in that place until you regain your stability. 6 months without rent. The proposal lingered in the atmosphere surrounding them. Mia gazed at him, probing his expression for concealed intentions. What would compel you to take such an action? Due to your commendable performance, Ethan responded, his demeanor remaining inscrutable. Finding dependable assistance can be quite challenging. Mia's pride surged once more. I'm not seeking any favors, Mr. Carter. He replied that he wasn't providing one. I'm suggesting a deal that works for both of us. He paused, then continued in a gentler tone. I'm providing Oliver with a safe haven. The utterance of her son's name caused Mia's determination to falter. The apartment she could scarcely manage to pay for was situated in a building with dubious security, sporadic hot water, and neighbors who engaged in loud disputes at all hours. Oliver truly deserved more. Yet, she lingered in uncertainty. It just doesn't sit well. Ethan remarked with a practical tone, considering it as an addition to your compensation package. A significant number of executives are provided with housing allowances. Mia clarified, I'm a housekeeper, not an executive. Ethan's lips curled slightly, hinting at a faint semblance of a smile. Then view it as a commitment to keeping your team engaged. Oliver, nestled on his blanket, suddenly erupted with a joyful gurgle, capturing the attention of both nearby. Ethan's demeanor softened as he gazed at the baby, and once more, there it was, a flicker of something deeper, more intricate than his professional facade permitted. Mia observed him intently, a question brewing within her that she had previously hesitated to voice. Is this concerning Oliver and me? Or could it be about something entirely different? Her question's straightforwardness appeared to surprise Ethan. For a fleeting instant, the meticulously crafted facade faltered, exposing a flash of unfiltered feeling before he regained his composure. Is it significant? He inquired softly. Maybe it did, but Mia couldn't quite grasp the reason. What she understood was that her son warranted a sense of stability, and her growing fatigue was becoming a perilous situation. Just yesterday, she almost drifted off while bathing Oliver. The apartment, she remarked after a lengthy silence. May I take a look at it first? Ethan gave a slight nod. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll arrange for my driver to take you. So, there are absolutely no conditions involved? Mia had to ensure her message was unmistakable. No, Ethan responded decisively. Your terms of employment will stay the same. Maintain your usual routine. The apartment will be available to you for a duration of 6 months, at which point we can evaluate the situation again. Mia was aware that she ought to decline. Accepting such a considerable favor from her employer blurred the lines of professionalism. Yet, as she gazed at Oliver, the choice crystallized in her mind. All right, she finally replied, but only for 6 months, and I promise to repay you in due time. There's no need for that. Mia was adamant about it. Ethan observed her intently for a moment, then gave a nod. As you desire. As Mia collected Oliver and their belongings to depart, an unsettling sensation lingered within her, suggesting that something significant was eluding her grasp. Ethan Carter was not a figure recognized for his generosity. He was known for his unyielding efficiency and sharp strategic insight in the business world. What approach is he taking now? Why did this arrangement seem to hold greater significance for him than he was ready to acknowledge? The Sullivan building stood in stark contrast to Mia's current apartment. Safe, pristine, and bathed in natural light. The apartment Ethan proposed was a simple two-bedroom situated on the 10th floor, featuring windows that looked out onto a quaint little park. Though it lacked the opulence associated with the building, to Mia, who was used to her small walk-up, it felt like a grand estate. "This is far beyond what I anticipated," she confessed, as Ethan's driver, James, guided her through the surroundings. With a knowing smile, James responded, "Mr. Carter mentioned you might say that. He mentioned that I should inform you it's the tiniest unit in the building. That may be the case, yet the shining kitchen appliances, the spacious bathtub perfect for soaking, and the second bedroom where Oliver could enjoy his own space stirred a wave of unexpected emotion in Mia, tightening her throat. That weekend, she and Oliver settled into their new place. Ethan refrained from assisting with the move, keeping a formal separation, yet arranged for movers to handle her limited possessions. The gesture, reminiscent of others he'd made lately, left Mia perplexed about the evolving dynamics of their relationship. Work proceeded as normal, but now Mia came from a property owned by Ethan, having enjoyed a more restful night than she had in a long time. Oliver appeared more content as well, flourishing in the serene, tidy surroundings. As the weeks went by, Ethan found himself at the penthouse more frequently while Mia was busy with her work. He started conducting video calls in the living room rather than his office, allowing Oliver to play close by. He arranged the meetings to align perfectly with Oliver's nap times, all without Mia needing to say a word. Little instances gathered like delicate snowflakes, creating something neither of them recognized. Ethan stepped in to assist when Oliver began teething, while Mia observed that Ethan hadn't eaten and decided to whip up a simple lunch. Ethan recalled Oliver's favorite toy, and Mia took note of how Ethan preferred his coffee. It was in the 7th month of Oliver's life that a significant change occurred. Mia arrived at work to see Ethan, who appeared unusually fatigued, his typically polished look somewhat disheveled. "It was a tough night," she inquired, placing her belongings down. "The Tokyo deal collapsed," he responded, fixated on his laptop screen. "Half a year of effort down the drain." Mia acknowledged him with a gentle nod and continued with her morning routine, allowing him the space he needed. Eventually, she discovered him in the kitchen, gazing out the window, his coffee sitting untouched beside him. "It's more than just the agreement," he remarked unexpectedly as he caught sight of her. "Today marks what would have been Emily's birthday." The name lingered in the space between them. Emily, a figure Mia had never encountered in conversation before. "Your spouse?" she proceeded with caution. Ethan gave a single nod, his jaw clenched. She would have reached the age of 38. Mia placed the laundry basket she had been holding onto the ground. "Are you interested in discussing her?" For a brief instant, she believed he might decline, retreating behind his barrier of professionalism. He lifted his coffee mug and strolled into the living room, a quiet beckoning for her to join him. Oliver lay in a serene slumber, the monitor capturing the tranquility of his expression. Mia positioned herself opposite Ethan, acutely aware of the significance of the words he was poised to reveal. "Emily and I shared 4 years of marriage." His voice commanded attention. "She was a pediatric surgeon, exceptional, showing kindness in ways I could never match." Mia absorbed his words about a woman who reveled in hiking through the rain, who fervently debated hospital funding with donors, who dreamed of having at least 3 children. "We had been attempting for quite some time when she finally became pregnant," Ethan said, his gaze locked on an unseen point in the distance. "She was 7 months along when his voice wavered just a bit. Complications arose. I lost them both, Emily and our daughter, in one fateful night." The heaviness of his admission hung in the air between them. In an instant, his response to Oliver became clear. The tenderness, the yearning, the sorrow reflected in his gaze when he believed he was unseen. Mia spoke gently, her voice filled with remorse. "What is the name of your daughter?" "Lily," Ethan responded, the solitary word heavy with sorrow. "We had decided to name her Lily." They lingered in quietude for a brief moment. Then Ethan appeared to gather his thoughts, sitting up straighter in his chair. "I sincerely apologize. This conversation is not suitable between. What are the options being considered? Mia interjected softly. Boss and worker? Or is it simply not suitable for Ethan Carter to reveal his humanity? A glimmer sparked in his gaze. Astonishment maybe at her audacity. Mia continued, detailing how she had been observing my son for months. You provided us with a home. I believe we've moved beyond just a professional relationship. Wouldn't you agree? The screen revealed Oliver rousing from his slumber. Mia stood up to approach him, stopping briefly next to Ethan's chair. Without thinking, she rested her hand gently on his shoulder. I appreciate you sharing that information with me. That evening, after settling Oliver into his new room, Mia discovered Ethan on the penthouse balcony, cradling a glass of whiskey. The city lights sprawled beneath them, resembling a cascade of fallen stars. Come sit with me, he invited, motioning to the empty chair next to him. As they lingered in the refreshing embrace of the night, Mia mustered the courage to voice the question that had been troubling her thoughts. What is the reason behind all of this? The reality of the situation now. Ethan remained silent for what felt like an eternity, leading her to wonder if he would ever respond. As he spoke, his voice carried a weight of sincerity. Initially, Oliver brought to mind the things I had lost, he confessed. Yet at that moment, he gazed at her, his expression revealing a deep sense of vulnerability. He serves as a reminder of the possibilities that life still holds. Mia sensed a change in the air, a silent recognition of emotions that both had hesitated to define. Yet, as a comforting warmth blossomed within her, a lingering shadow of uncertainty trailed behind. Were she and Oliver merely a means for Ethan to mend past scars? A substitute for the loved ones he had lost? Or was there a deeper connection blossoming between them? The unasked question lingered in the air as they sat side by side beneath the expansive night sky, the future as mysterious as the twinkling stars overhead. The headline blared from Mia's phone screen. The hidden family of billionaire Ethan Carter? There it was, a blurred image capturing Ethan with Oliver in his arms as they made their way into the Sullivan building, with Mia trailing just a bit behind. Her hands quivered as she navigated through the article. Words leaped from the page: a grieving widower, a much younger housekeeper, a love child, relocating her into his estate. The narrative was a harmful blend of partial truths and blatant falsehoods, depicting her as a shrewd opportunist who had strategically placed herself and her child as a substitute family for the mourning real estate tycoon. Mia was overcome by a wave of nausea. The piece referred to her directly, even specifying the floor she resided on in the Sullivan building. Her privacy, her reputation, her dignity, all shattered in mere paragraphs of sensationalism disguised as journalism. She stumbled upon the article when a former colleague sent her a text with the link, inquiring if it was genuine. When she arrived at the penthouse that morning, 3 additional people had reached out to her, one of whom was her sister from Chicago. Ethan was on the phone when she arrived, his back tense as he moved restlessly around the living room. From his terse delivery, Mia realized he had come across the article as well. I will do whatever it takes, he declared, his voice icy with restrained anger. Investigate the source of the address leak and address the situation, then reach out to Reynolds at the Chronicle. I expect a retraction by the end of the day. He terminated the call upon spotting Mia, his demeanor growing even more somber at the visible anguish etched on her features. He asserted it, rather than inquired. Indeed, Mia placed Oliver's carrier down with great care. My phone has been incessantly buzzing since this morning. Ethan ran a hand through his hair, a gesture she had come to recognize as one of his rare signs of genuine distress. Victor Chun, he stated, his voice strained. Previous collaborator. Last year, we experienced a rift, and since then, he has been seeking opportunities to sabotage my efforts. What is this, then? Corporate retribution? Mia inquired, her tone elevating even as she tried to maintain her composure. Leveraging my life and my son as a means to retaliate against you? I'll take care of this, Ethan promised her, his hand already moving toward his phone once more. A statement is being drafted by my PR team. We will clarify that you are an employee and that the housing arrangement is simply a component of your compensation. Nothing beyond that. His words had a certain weight that caused Mia to hesitate. Is that truly what I am? Merely a staff member? Ethan paused, taken aback by the inquiry. The vibrant, solution-oriented aura that had been emanating from him diminished as he locked eyes with her. Could you clarify what you mean? You understand precisely what I'm saying. Mia moved in closer, watching as Oliver lay peacefully asleep in his carrier. For months now, we've shared a connection that goes beyond the typical roles of employer and employee. You dedicate time to my son. You shared with me the stories of Emily and Lily. On certain evenings, after Oliver has drifted off to sleep, we find ourselves engaged in conversation for hours. Ethan's expression stayed meticulously composed. We have forged a friendship. Friends, Mia echoed, the term falling short. Is that everything? The inquiry lingered in the air around them. Beyond the penthouse windows, the city raced on. Yet within, time felt frozen as they confronted a pivotal moment neither had anticipated. What would you like me to express, Mia? Ethan finally inquired. His voice softened, carrying a more personal resonance than his usual professional demeanor. She answered with a straightforward declaration. Is there a mistake on their part? The sensationalist publications, who are we? Engaging in domestic role-play? Ethan's silence lingered, and within that pause, Mia discovered the truth she sought. Do you have any feelings for me? She insisted, craving to have it articulated. Or are we merely occupying an emptiness in your existence? The inquiry resonated deeply. Ethan averted his gaze just enough, his silhouette defined by the soft glow of the morning light filtering through the windows. When he finally spoke, his voice was deliberate, thoughtful. Absolutely. My concern for you and Oliver is genuine. However, Mia nudged, picking up on the silent caveat. Ethan's pause lingered uncomfortably. In the stillness, Mia experienced a sharp and painful understanding wash over her. She perceived her reflection in his gaze. The young single mother had entered his meticulously structured existence, infusing it with disorder, vitality, and poignant reminders of all he had once lost. She glimpsed Oliver, an opportunity for the fatherhood that had been unjustly taken from him, and she perceived something more. Ethan's struggles to distinguish his deepening emotions for them from the lingering shadows of his unprocessed sorrow. You're not prepared, she whispered gently. The realization is painful, yet unmistakable. Do you care about us? Yet find yourself uncertain whether it's due to our identity or what we symbolize. Mia, that isn't, is it not? She interrupted him softly. When you gaze at Oliver, do you ever catch a glimpse of the child you once held dear? When you assist me, are you attempting to embody the person Emily required you to be? Ethan's expression revealed the truth of her worst fears. Not with fury or rejection, but with a sudden realization of her perceptiveness, accompanied by an unwilling acknowledgement of reality. I refuse to be your backup option, Mia murmured. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears, poised on the brink of spilling over. And I refuse to allow Oliver to take Lily's place. She collected her son's carrier along with her bag. I'm in need of a little time. I plan to take a short break. Where shall you venture? Ethan inquired, his voice taut with tension. Mia replied, the apartment for now. She paused, then said, I'm unsure of what comes next. Allow me to assist with this media situation at the very least. Ethan moved closer to her. I will shield you from that. Mia gave a brief nod, recognizing that much. However, the remainder of US, whatever this situation entails, must hold off until you truly understand your desires. As she made her way to the elevator, Ethan's voice echoed behind her. What if I'm already aware? Mia pivoted, her gaze locking onto his from across the vastness of the penthouse foyer. Then demonstrate it. Not with living spaces or monetary stability or addressing my challenges. Demonstrate your true self by uncovering your identity, free from the shadows of your history that linger between us. The elevator doors slid shut, creating a barrier between them. As it descended, Mia allowed her tears to flow, contemplating whether she had just turned her back on something that might have blossomed into beauty, or if she had rescued herself and Oliver from becoming mere stand-ins in a life constructed on sorrow instead of affection. In the penthouse that now seemed more desolate than it had in months, Ethan remained still, grappling with a reality he was unprepared to confront. 3 weeks had gone by since Mia left Ethan's penthouse. He fulfilled his promise by managing the media situation effectively. A formal statement was issued to clarify her role as an employee, accompanied by cease and desist letters sent to publications that persisted in the speculation. Victor Chun had faded from the gossip columns following a speculated encounter with Ethan's legal team. The collective curiosity faded, yet the personal anguish lingered on. Mia remained in her apartment at the Sullivan Building, relying on her stockpiled vacation days to postpone her return to work. She thought about seeking a different job, one that would offer sufficient support for her and Oliver, free from the emotional complexities that her current role now entailed. Each day, she awaited a call or a visit from Ethan. Each day, the silence deepened, until the moment a plain envelope slipped through her mail slot. Within the confines lay a key accompanied by a handwritten note. Your position is still available if you desire it. The apartment remains yours for the entire 6 months as agreed, should that be the case. No attachments. No appeal to emotions. No elaborate display. Simply a gentle acknowledgement that her decision held significance. On that afternoon, a second envelope made its entrance. This document included the transfer of ownership of her apartment to a trust set up in Oliver's name, with Mia serving as trustee until he reached the age of 21. A letter from Ethan's attorney clarified that the trust would take care of all maintenance fees and property taxes. Mia reclined on her sofa, the papers laid out in front of her, overwhelmed by their significance. Beyond mere financial stability, it's about liberation. The ability to decide on a return to Ethan guided by emotions instead of obligation. That night, she reached out to her sister, sharing all the details. So, if I understand correctly, Jenny remarked after absorbing the entire intricate story, your wealthy employer developed feelings for you and your child, became envious when the media caught wind of it, then gifted you an apartment before vanishing from your life. Mia sighed, observing Oliver as he engaged with his activity. That's not quite how it unfolded. Matt, it was I who chose to step back. I expressed to him that he needed to determine whether his feelings for us were based on our true selves or merely a reflection of what he had lost. Now, he's allowing you the freedom to make your choice. I suppose that's the case. The question is, Jenny said softly, what do you want, Mia? The question remained in the air, echoing long after the call ended. What was it that she desired? Indeed, security for Oliver is essential. However, Ethan had already given that, expecting nothing in exchange. Position. She might discover another. Connection. Had that been the thing blossoming between them? She recalled Ethan's expression as he mentioned Emily and Lily, the deep sorrow still palpable even after 5 years. She remembered the moment he first cradled Oliver, how a spark had ignited within him. She recalled tranquil evenings on the balcony, where their conversations meandered effortlessly, and his expression gradually softened as he gazed at her. Was it merely the echoes of his history, or the dawn of a fresh chapter? In another part of the city, Ethan was implementing his own transformations. For the first time since the loss of his family, he refrained from immersing himself in work as a means to evade the anguish. Instead, he confronted it. It all began on Emily's birthday, the moment when everything changed between him and Mia. He made his way to the cemetery, laying flowers at the graves he had neglected for far too long, finally voicing the thoughts he had held in silence. He sifted through the boxes of memories he had tucked away, gently handling photographs, baby clothes, and wedding albums. For the first time in years, he wept, not the restrained sorrow he had allowed himself, but profound, purging sobs that drained him yet left him feeling somehow unburdened. At the office, he surprised his executive team by declaring he would be reducing his involvement in daily operations. He expressed his intention to stay engaged in strategic decisions, but emphasized that it was time for someone else to handle the daily operations. Margaret, his assistant for 8 years, discovered him tidying up his desk and halted in the doorway. "Are you feeling unwell?" she inquired with a directness that left no room for ambiguity. Ethan let out a laugh, a sound so uncommon in the office that it caused Margaret's eyebrows to raise in surprise. "Absolutely not," he reassured her. "I'm striving to exist fully." He devoted time to rekindling relationships with old friends, individuals who had been part of his life before sorrow shaped him into the person he was now. He went to see his parents, who had quietly carried their worries for him over the years. He dedicated his time at a children's hospital, paying tribute to Emily's memory in a way he had long neglected. As he did so, he reflected on Mia and Oliver, not as substitutes for his loss, but as individuals who had revealed to him that his heart was still open to growth. A month after Mia departed from the penthouse, Ethan got a message from her. "I will be returning to work tomorrow." His reply was straightforward. "I'll be out of the office. James will grant you access." The decision was made with intention. He would not be present to sway her choice or create any discomfort for her. The penthouse would be hers to reclaim on her own terms. That evening, Ethan found himself perched on a bench in the quaint park that lay just beyond the view of Oliver's nursery window. He possessed no strategy to engage with them, nor any hope that Mia would even notice his presence. He just required the space to be near, to reflect on his thoughts and the choices he had made. As twilight descended, he caught sight of a silhouette at the window of the 10th floor, Mia cradling Oliver, gazing down at the park. It was unclear to him if she noticed him sitting there. She lingered for a while before finally turning away, the light in the window shining like a guiding star in the encroaching gloom. Ethan sat on the bench, his gaze fixed on that light. For years, he had been on a relentless quest to escape his history, constructing barriers around his heart, wielding his empire as a stronghold against vulnerability. Then Mia and Oliver arrived, infusing his meticulously ordered world with a delightful mix of chaos, warmth, and vibrancy. He faced a decision: to retreat into the familiar comfort of his walls or to venture into the unknown, armed only with the certainty that he was finally prepared to embrace life once more. The following morning, Mia discovered a small envelope waiting for her on the desk as she entered the penthouse. Within the envelope lay a note bearing an address, not the cemetery as she had somewhat anticipated, but rather a playground in Central Park with a time, noon, neatly inscribed at the bottom in Ethan's meticulous handwriting. Nothing guaranteed, no whimsical stories, merely a decision. The playground thrived with energy, kids scaling structures, soaring on swings, their laughter weaving a melodic tapestry, while parents gathered on benches, coffee in hand and vigilant gazes, some deep in discussion, others absorbed by their screens. Mia stepped through the door right at noon, with Oliver snugly secured in his carrier against her chest. She surveyed the surroundings, unsure of what might unfold. Upon catching sight of Ethan, she paused for a brief moment, captivated by the scene before her. He perched quietly on a bench at the playground's edge, clad in jeans and a plain gray sweater, attire she had never witnessed him don before. The tailored suit and polished appearance of Ethan Carter, the real estate mogul, had vanished. This man appeared friendly, seemingly unremarkable, except for the unmistakable intensity in his eyes as he observed the children at play. He was still oblivious to her presence. Mia paused to observe him, seeking to calm her fluttering heart. She had gone over her lines countless times during the journey, but now, in his presence, all her carefully crafted phrases vanished into thin air. Ethan lifted his gaze, his eyes connecting with hers from afar. He remained still, neither advancing nor making a sound, patiently allowing her the freedom to decide. Mia approached him with measured grace, each step intentional and purposeful. Oliver cooed softly against her chest, his tiny hands reaching for her scarf. "You came?" Ethan said when she reached him, his voice laced with a mix of assurance and astonishment. "Your note was intriguing," Mia replied, taking a seat beside him, leaving a comfortable distance between them. "What brings us to this place?" Ethan waved his hand in the direction of the playground. "Emily and I would occasionally visit this place, observing the families and envisioning what our future might hold." He lingered, his eyes fixed on the children at play. I haven't returned since her passing. Mia took this in, grasping its importance. What about today? Today, I found it essential to be present, he stated plainly, to reflect but also to perceive it from a new perspective. He faced her then, his blue eyes bright and unwavering, as if seeing her anew. A silence enveloped them, not awkward but heavy with everything left unspoken. Oliver wriggled in his carrier, prompting Mia to make a slight adjustment. Could I? Ethan inquired, motioning toward the infant. Mia paused for just a moment before unbuckling the carrier and gently placing Oliver into Ethan's outstretched arms. The infant gazed up at him with sparkling, inquisitive eyes, then extended a tiny hand towards Ethan's face, a gesture that had grown comfortable in their bond. He has matured, Ethan noted, a smile gracing his face as he looked down at Oliver. In merely a month, Mia remarked that babies embody swift and unyielding transformation. Ethan nodded, a contemplative look crossing his face. I've been undergoing some transformations as well. He shared with her the events of the past month, the visits to the cemetery, the unpacking of boxes filled with memories, and the reorganization of his company. He expressed himself with a refreshing honesty, his words flowing freely in a manner they had never done previously. He articulated the necessity of confronting my past, emphasizing that it was essential not only for moving forward but also for giving it the respect it deserved. A child's joyful shout echoed from the playground, capturing their attention for a brief moment. As Ethan began to speak once more, his tone had taken on a gentler quality. You were correct, you see, regarding the reason I was initially attracted to you and Oliver. Mia felt a subtle tightening within her, bracing for the validation of her deepest anxieties. However, that was not the conclusion of the matter. Ethan pressed on, locking eyes with her. At some point, it shifted from focusing on my losses to recognizing the essence of who you both are. He looked down at Oliver, who had seized his finger with unexpected vigor. This small creature gazes at the world with boundless curiosity. And you, his gaze shifted back to Mia's face. Resolute, dignified, empathetic, entirely different from Emily, truly. The sincerity in his voice brought a smile to Mia's face, even against her will. Is that meant to be a compliment? The highest, Ethan answered promptly. You are irreplaceable, Mia. You are truly remarkable. The phrases lingered in the space between them, transforming the atmosphere they inhabited. Mia examined his features, searching for any hint of the meticulously composed entrepreneur she had encountered initially. Instead, she encountered only Ethan, still powerful, still reflective, yet somehow more engaged, more vibrant. What comes next? She inquired. Ethan pondered this, his thumb softly caressing Oliver's tiny hand. It all hinges on your desires. Mia echoed the words with deliberate slowness. I seek protection for Oliver. A dwelling, a destiny. Ethan noted softly that you already possess those things. The apartment belongs to him. Your position remains stable regardless of your decision to come back or not. The path ahead is yours to craft. It was indeed true. He had granted her the liberty to decide without any pressure or obligation. What is it that you seek, Ethan? She inquired, redirecting the question towards him. He paused, lost in contemplation, as he collected his thoughts. As he spoke, his voice resonated with a confidence she had never encountered before. I wish to be woven into the fabric of your lives, not as a remedy for emptiness or pain, but because the connection I share with both of you has rekindled my desire to truly embrace life once more. He hesitated for a moment before continuing, but only if that's what you desire as well. A gentle breeze tousled Oliver's delicate hair, prompting Mia to reach out instinctively to tame it. As her hand lightly grazed Ethan's, a fleeting contact ignited a warmth that coursed through her arm. She confessed that she was unsure of what that entailed. Tomorrow. It's intricate. Life often unfolds in unexpected ways, Ethan acknowledged, yet I'm not seeking guarantees or assurances, merely an opportunity for us to explore together. Mia reflected on the recent months, the subtle transformations in Ethan, the surprising emotions that had taken root in her heart, and how Oliver appeared to flourish in Ethan's company. She contemplated the beauty of second chances and fresh starts, reflecting on decisions born from liberty instead of obligation. "We proceed with caution," she remarked at last, "one day at a time." Ethan nodded, a glimmer of admiration and a more profound emotion illuminating his gaze. Taking it one day at a time? At that moment, Oliver released a joyful gurgle, stretching his little hands toward them, his tiny fingers reaching out into the air. Mia instinctively shifted closer on the bench, bridging the careful gap she had kept. As the three of them gathered beneath the warm embrace of the spring sun, enveloped by the laughter of children and the rhythm of life unfolding, Mia understood that they were embarking on a journey, not a fairy tale or a makeshift family or a revival of dreams once lost, but something uniquely theirs, something fresh and uncharted. "How about we take a stroll for a bit?" Ethan inquired, gesturing toward the trail that meandered through the park. "Indeed," Mia replied with a quiet assurance, standing up next to him. He placed Oliver back into her carrier, his movements deliberate and refined at this point. As they embarked on the path together, they found themselves in a comfortable cadence, moving alongside one another yet remaining apart. Each step a decision, each moment a fresh start, devoid of promises, devoid of fantasies, simply a decision that felt genuine this time. Greetings, cherished audience. If Mia and Ethan's journey resonated with you, reflecting on the challenges they encountered and how little Oliver changed their lives, please share your thoughts in the comments about this tale of fresh starts and renewed opportunities. Your thoughts are incredibly valuable to us. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and share it with friends who enjoy touching tales. We're eager to understand our audience more deeply. From which country are you following this story? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you found this content enjoyable, consider subscribing to our channel to stay updated on our future uploads.